Hey, this is Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. Hey, it's no secret, one of the biggest problems that women have is with guys pulling away and growing distant. So today, we're going to talk about what makes guys shut down emotionally and withdraw. Look, it's no secret that there are two things that every relationship question typically boils down to in my experience. These are the emails I get and the calls I get and the people that I coach. How do I get my guy to adore, worship, and appreciate me? And number two is, how do I get my guy to stop shutting down and withdrawing from me? He's distant. Well, if I'm perfectly straight with you here, and I always am, number two is pretty much the same as number one, even if it doesn't seem like it on the surface. Let's be real here. Guys are not easy to reach emotionally. We're hard to read. We don't always talk about our feelings. We even go so far as to hide a lot of our emotional content from you. So yeah, I get it. Men seem emotionally distant. But here's an important fact that most women don't know, and that is that men feel emotions just as deeply as women do. We just keep them out of sight. Another fact is that men are never rewarded for being more emotional or expressive. In most men's experience, we never win by being emotionally transparent to anyone. It's how we grew up and it's how we were cultured as men. But here's another fact you have to face, and this is going to be the controversial stuff that I love to read about in the comments. Another fact is that men are not attractive when we are overly emotional. You know it. No matter what you want a guy to be, if you want him to be more emotional, whatever it is, you also know that you would get sick of him being emotional really quick if that's all he did. It's okay in your girlfriends, it's not okay in a guy. That being said, most men could use a little work on their emotional communication. So let's talk about reason number one why he's gone distant on you. He's overwhelmed. Yeah, you might have heard me say this once or twice. Guys don't respond to women's emotional expression in the best way. You can't force a guy into responding to everything in your conversation or overload him with 15 minutes of emotional content, or else you're going to get the fastest and least helpful information out of him. Give him an opportunity to breathe. Let him think it over and then let him get it back to you. If you have to, set a time and a date for the rest, maybe the second half of the conversation after you've given him some time to recover. And then just extend him the courtesy of not interrupting him when it comes turn for him to speak, or else you're likely going to see him shut right back down again. Men need a lot of space to feel safe and comfortable enough to open their hearts and their feelings to you, just as much as you need to express your feelings to him. Why he emotionally shuts down on you, reason number two is he's overlooked. You see, men are happy to listen to you and hear out whatever is troubling you. When we're in love, we have no problem with that. Your happiness means everything to us. In fact, there's a saying in Italian families, like the one I came from, it's usually said by the men, if you're happy, I'm happy. However, if we sense that we can't do anything to please you or make you happy, we will shut down. Now, I know you're saying, Carlos, it's not that he can't do anything to please me. It's, yeah, I know you feel there's something he could do for you, but very often the emotional content of the conversation, which is what the men hear, sends us in the opposite direction, especially if it doesn't feel like he's the one that's also being heard. And remember that 90% of the problems in relationships boil down to one simple thing. One person doesn't feel heard because the other person's too busy wallowing in their own hurt. Why he pulls away from you, reason number three, you're too nice. Yeah, you heard me on this one. You're too flippin' nice to this guy. Guys don't need you to be so indirect about telling us how we need to shape up and get our butts in gear. We respond best to straight and clear communication. Yeah, which is something most women would never do in conversation, especially with your girlfriends. Women are conditioned to be very soft and gentle in the way that they handle the other women in their lives. However, the more indirect you are with a guy, the more likely he's going to interpret your request to be not a big deal, since you made it sound like not such a big deal. You got to be straightforward with him. Don't waffle and dance around the subject like you're afraid of getting him mad at you because you're mad at him. I know it's kind of neurotic, but that's what a lot of women do, is they back off from their own feelings because they don't want to get him mad. Don't nag him. You have to be able to talk to him to get him to listen to you, but at the same time, just show him that you're disappointed. That's going to kick his butt into gear. Disappointment motivates guys. Okay, he's not responding to you. Reason number four, no romance. Look, this one is going to come as a bit of a shocker to you, but when men are asked why they're not romantic anymore, it usually comes down to one simple reason. she's not romantic with me. Yeah, guys want you to be romantic too. Remember that cute stuff you used to do back when you were first dating? Guys love that stuff. It's a two-way street, folks. On the other hand, if you're breaking your back being too romantic to him or working too hard for the romance, cut that stuff out too. If you're doing too much work, he'll figure he doesn't have to do anything. And there's a comfortable back and forth of romance and romantic effort in relationships that actually works out. It's like a teeter-totter from the playground. You'd be surprised to know just how many women ask their man to show initiative, but then they never demonstrate any initiative of their own to make things happen in the relationship. Remember that you can only control you. The way we get others to do stuff is to meet their expectations while we communicate our expectations. And finally, why he grows cold and distant. Reason number 5, he's not feeling desired or respected. Guys are actually pretty simple to please. We only need 2 things to run our romantic engines pretty much forever. It's the fuel of our love lives. Men want to feel respected, and we want to feel wanted, both sexually and emotionally. And I'm pretty sure you like those things too, right? Respect for a man is pretty easy. Just tell us we're appreciated for what it is we do. Yeah, it's that simple. If he does something you like, tell him. Just like the rule with kids, catch him doing something right and then recognize it. Because what gets recognized gets repeated. Which also means that when you only recognize the negative stuff, he will probably repeat that as well. Sometimes we want any recognition, so we'll settle for the negative, but it's not what makes us open up to you. All relationships that work are built on overwhelming positive communication. It just simply means you talk more about the good stuff than the bad stuff. Now you're probably wondering, how do you communicate to guys? It seems so confusing. What it is they really want, what it is they need, what do they want to hear, how do they want to hear it? How do you make him feel desired and respected? And you might wonder how to ask for what you need along the way, because that's just as important. Well, it's amazingly simple. It's all in the words you use with him. You can trigger any man to resume the chase. You can have him wrapped around your finger, just like he was when he wasn't so sure about how you felt about him. You want to learn how to trigger his seeking system so that he wants you and only you? Go find out. Go discover the secret love language of men, how we communicate love, and how we tell you exactly how we're feeling. Go on over to datingadviceguru.com/obsession, or just click the little link you see below this video. And while you're at it, make sure you do the big 3. Make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe so you can keep getting these tips every week, and of course, leave me your comments and questions below in the comments. This is Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. As always, it's a pleasure, and as always, I want you to live and love with passion.